Hello there. So we are going to discuss about a real life JD over there, the job descriptions that HRs usually use to extend it to the candidates to inform them about what skill sets we are looking for. And yes, obviously this is one of the this technical JD and based on the .NET developers, right? So mm, if you are overwhelmed with the technical jargons, what does that mean? What are the meaning? What they actually do? So just don't panic. Just by the end of the conversation, you will get to know each and every I, my skill sets, what they are actually looking for, and what .NET developers do, how they perform, and what are the roles and responsibilities of a .NET developer and all, right? And we are not going to use any sort of technical jargons, that using the simple real world scenarios we are going to discuss it over there, that simply you can get to know about the actual meaning of the technical terms over there, right? So this would be quite helpful for the non-tech persons, those who are coming from the non-tech backgrounds are in the they are in the this HR field. And being a non-tech person, you often think, how should I screen a employee from the screen a applicant having the technical skill set. This is quite easy, a simple thing. You need to prepare your JD, understand the skill set, no matter where you are coming from, but you have to understand the meaning of the keywords, meaning of the terms. That's it, right? And later on, to uh, for the niche hiring process, just go with there are different type of technical testings over there where you can ask them to write the codes and deploy it over there, right? So let's dip down into the process. We are not going to discuss about the non-tech parameters, about the location, salary, blah blah blah, but we are totally focused on the technical part, right? So just think about a simple thing, a simple storyline over there. Okay, whether you are using a software when you are ordering your foods, or even when you are using the Facebook, LinkedIn, and any profile, how the things are happening. Do the machines have brain? The answer is no. But there is a person who already defined, when you click on the friend request button, there is a action will be happened. Action will be taken care with the system automatically. Once we hit on the friend request button, the message gets conveyed to the relevant person, and there is a message box pops up over there. I mean, via the notification channel. Okay, someone wants to connect over there. Someone wants to connect it. So they are the predefined logics. Okay, once you click on this button, the this message or the notification will be conveyed. Whom to convey? Again, this is another logic, and these logics are defined. They are already predefined and instructed to a machine via code lines. These are the key responsibilities of any sort of developer. They used to write the code to define the logic. Now again, think about, okay, you are clicking on a video, how the process is acting over there. Is there a person sitting over there? Once you click over there and they will extend the relevant video, the answer is no. Each and everything is stored inside our storage system. We have pen drives, we have hard disks, we have this mobile microchips. These are all are the different sort of storage system, and there is a bigger picture of the storage system. They are known as the servers. Inside there are different type of file systems, whether it's a document, it's a video, it's a PDF, Excel, Word file. Everything is stored inside a single place, and the place are usually, formally they are known as the servers. Now the servers are two different types of server. One is the physical server, when you store it inside a physical location, like there are tons of hard disks embedded inside a room. This would act like a physical server. And another thing, when you store the files and all those things inside a cloud service project, so uh, this is the like you are putting inside the cloud system or the cloud servers. So even so, this physical servers has certain limitations because we need to connect it over the wires, or sometimes we need to access from the physical locations. But when we think globally, the cloud servers are the only system through which we can access the files from anywhere, from at at any corner of the world you are sitting over there, you can access while we are working on the cloud servers. These are the basic concepts. Now, just close your eyes and think about, okay, imagine a day in your life if this UPI stops for a minute. How chaotic it would be. If the WhatsApp system doesn't load, then there would be a panic. If your office HRM system fails, employees will start complaining, right? If your online banking system crashes, business would be raised over there. If a hospital cannot access their patient's history, then the lives are at risk. If think about the airline system crashes, it would be a situation to find out who are the actual ticket holders, whom should I allow to get into the premises and all. Now just open your eyes and think the entire world, this our world are they runs on softwares, but not just a single software. There are different software, and the software runs on logics. The softwares are built by people. You never met someone sitting quietly at their desk and writing logic, building APIs, and stitching together thousands of digital components so that your life feels simple, right? So these people are the developers, and one of the key drive among those developers are the .NET developers. So now we get to know about the .NET developers. What they do, they usually write the code, this codes over there to define the logic against which action, what the next step, what the next action would be taken care over there. This is the simple part about the .NET developers. I hope that you are getting the points that what they do and what are the requirement, what are the real life problems they are trying to solve using their technical skills. Now we will define each and every keywords or each and every skill sets, what they actually mean, what they actually do, and how they as a collective service, they just architect an entire software. Now just picturize, just like a city inside every software. Inside a city there are different houses. Consider these houses as the components. The components is the same thing using while we are writing the codes. If you want to move from one house to another house, one home to another home, you need a highway. The this API are the highways, electricity, these are the services. We need water, the water pipelines are the data flow. Data flow means, the concept of creating the software is which data we require at what time. If you're clicking on inside a video over there, that means you are accessing a file and you just want to access that particular data to get the video over there. This is the process. So there is a predefined architecture, and this architecture is the government. They are setting different set of rules and regulations. So when it comes to the rules and regulations, there we require a protocol, we need a law, and this law is nothing but the coding standards. Whenever we have to write a coding standard, we need a language inside it. Language in the sense whether you want to write it in Hindi language or in English language. Similarly, in coding, there are different type of languages, and this C sharp in the sense this one, this C has mentioned over there. This is C sharp. C sharp is one of the language. There are different types of language which having their own libraries, own one frameworks, own protocols over there, and using the same language, the entire code is being written inside it. So as we get to know, okay, there are highways. We have to maintain the path over there to move from one place to another place. Similarly, we have this signal lights over there on the road, on the traffics. There is a same process is over there inside this city of software. There is a traffic controllers, and these traffic controllers are known as this DevOps. So DevOps and this DevOps pipeline, CI/CD pipeline, they are the traffic controller. They instruct the APIs to move on a certain directions, from where to where you have to move, which one you have to deliver to whom. These are defined by the traffic controllers. Now, inside the city, if everything is happening fine, it's all good. But we need to maintain a security checkpoints. Security checkpoints in the sense that suppose you are inside a colony, you always must check who can enter into this premises person, those who having their uh, houses inside the premise. If some external one, the outliers or the outside from the city is entering, you need to keep track of the records. So there is a checkpoint over there inside the premises. Not each and everyone can access your buildings. They don't. They have limited authorizations to get into the process. So similarly, inside the city of software, there is a security checkpoints, and these are known as the authentications. Authentication, similarly, when you are using your Facebook account, think the first step is you have to put your email ID and the password, your user ID and the password. Then only you can enter into the city of software, and this time the city or the software is Facebook. The same authentication processes each and everywhere, each and every coding system. And now there is just we have the garbage management system inside the city. There are the error handlings inside the software. Errors are some sort of garbage over there. Now we have a security checkpoints. Who will fix this issue? Who will find the bugs? Bugs in the sense there is a bug means in the world of software, bug means which is not correct. It's if the code is not correct in a proper way, this is the bug. If a logic is not working properly, this is the bug. So just like the policeman, we need the debugging system. Okay, you need to fix it out prior deployment. Deployment means executions, that everything is um, working fine over there, everything is executed over there, that means it's deployed. Now there is a town, there is a city, and there is architecture. So starting from the this houses as the components, APIs as the highways, services as the electricity, data flow as the water pipelines, architecture as the government, coding standards as the laws, DevOps pipelines as the traffic controllers, authentications as the security checkpoints, debugging as the policeman. The entire architecture is controlled or written by the logics, and the person who is writing the entire code, they are known as the .NET developers. They builds the software brick by brick, and each and every tool they use to solve a specific real life problem through the software, through the applications. Let's explore this one by one, right? So the first one, the C sharp. What is C sharp? What is .NET? So .NET and C sharp, these are the language of the city. So if you are in Bengal, people speaks in Bengali. You are in Bihar, you are speaking in Hindi. So inside the community, inside the city, which language would be spoken, they have to maintain a standard protocol where when you are entering into the city of software. So this is just like Hindi, Bengali, Marathi. C sharp is the language, right? It's as simple as that. To a developer, C sharp is the vocabulary used to tell the system what to do, how to do, when to do. Right? Now, suppose you have to create a employee record. You have to calculate leave balances. You have to calculate or update the order status, authorization login, generate invoices. When you put the data inside the Facebook, you use the English language over there. But this city of software, they maintain the language of C sharp. If a developer is weak in C sharp, they cannot build the blueprint of the system. That's why this knowledge of C sharp is much more important for a .NET developer. And as a requirement, it's mentioned over there that C sharp and the .NET developer must have a 6 years of experience. A person with the experience uh, who has already solved the business problems, built the features under pressure, fixed the issues, improved performance, uh, and all those things. So there are some sort of keywords like the services, class, link queue, interface, solid, business logic. These type of keywords they will definitely use while they are speaking about their experiences, right? Now, so .NET Core, there is a .NET Core and it's a .NET developer, but there is a written as .NET. This .NET Core 5 and 6, these are the versions. So there are different versions. Initially, they started with the .NET, then the .NET system, they upgraded the frameworks, libraries, and all. They renamed it as this .NET Core 1. Later on, they updated their libraries once more. They added on some extra works in the vocabularies, they just get familiar with .NET Core 5, and the recent model and the recent uh, this recent model they are using. This is the .NET Core 5 and the .NET Core 6. These are the latest one, the latest updated frameworks or the libraries inside this are being used. Now the difference between the .NET and the .NET Core, earlier software were built on the old .NET frameworks. Frameworks are nothing but the mm, how the things will happen, what are the logics. These all things are mentioned inside the framework and the libraries. Libraries are like the vocabulary. So this .NET, these are just like the diesel engines. There people need to write, uh, I mean, bulky codes or the bulky inputs over there after just to execute one single thing. And the most crucial part is this .NET works only with the Windows, or only they are limited to a single operating system. So these are hard to scale it out. Now .NET Core is the most fastest and the modern technology. Why this is modern? Because this works with the cloud framework. Again, cloud framework, when we say it cloud, that means if it's kept inside the physical server, we have to access it from a limited location. But when it comes to cloud, at any place, anywhere in the world, we can access it out using the internet. So companies switched their system into the .NET Core, because whatever the operating system you use, whether it's a Windows, Linux, or Mac, that doesn't matter when the entire system is kept inside a cloud-based server. So this is the simple difference between a .NET and the .NET Core. .NET Core means this is a cloud-based server. No matter what operating software you are using, you can access the same file you can access from the Windows system, and the very next day, if you are using a Mac or some other operating system, or a different device, different laptop, you can definitely use it. Even you can modify whatever you have done on the previous day. So these are the advantages. So how to find out these things? They will use like it support the microservices. Microservice, I would later explain what the microservice is. And they integrates with the cloud process, and you can say this is more scalable and most secured one. This is .NET Core. That's why people are transforming their technologies into this .NET Core services. And people having this skill set, they will use their like I built REST APIs, used EF code, and configured some dependency injections, created middleware. These kind of keywords or expression they are going to use when they are expressing their skill sets, right? So this is the .NET Core. Now the next term is REST API. As we earlier discussed, APIs are the highways that transport data from one part to another part. So inside the world of software, inside the city of software, the main agenda is moving data from one part to another part and using the same data for the next action, right? This is the requirement. Now think a real life scenario. Okay, you walk into a restaurant and you want some food. What you will do? First, you will call a waiter. He takes the order, goes to the kitchen, and brings your food. This is the simple step. Now think you are the user and this waiter is the API and kitchen is the backend system. Everything is being processed in the backend and you have something on your mind. You have to convey it to the kitchen. So waiter is the only way who passes the information from you, from user to the backend, and again when the food is prepared, they bring it back to you. So that waiter is the REST API or the API in the communication channel, right? So REST API allows mobile to talk to the servers, front end system to the backend system, microservices to talk to each other, and companies to integrate systems. REST APIs became the most popular globally because they are fast, they are uh, simply using the URLs, they are lightweighted, they support the JSON file in the sense that they are scalable because REST API, using the REST API, you need to write lesser number of code, lesser number of inputs to execute one to execute something over there. So without REST API, the modern digital world collapses. That's why there is a requirement of REST API as a must-have skill. Now, the second thing, this SQL. What SQL is? Initially, we discussed if you have to access some file over there and you are accessing some sort of video files, you want to access some document file, you have to store it out inside a storage. The storage is known as the server, but mostly they are the SQL servers. And why SQL? SQL is some sort of, they just store the data in a structured way that it becomes easier to find it out. So you can think inside a room there is a self created. If you dump all the required, required equipments inside a room, it would be cluttered over there. But if you create a self and place them in a proper way, it would be easier for you to find it out. The similar thing. The storeroom is known as the server, and if you create the self and put them in a segmented way, in a tabular way, in a structured way, you give the required the similar type of things in a similar self. These are the process that SQL follows. And SQL are just like the memory system inside a process, right? So the simple thing is that imagine a person with no memory. Every day they forget everything over there. So it becomes it's impossible to function. It's impossible to mm, take some action over there. So software without database is the same thing. So this SQL database, they store the data in a tabular way, in a tabular format to store the payment history, to store the order history, bills, user accounts, user informations, transactions, logs, attendance, employee data. Each and everything is stored inside a SQL memory over there, and a strong developer, they know how to write the complex queries either to store the data, and when they want the data they can retrieve the data from the storage process. This is the simple thing. So just think about it, there is a data written over there, like just like this. Sorry. So it's hard to read out the paragraphs, but if I present it in a tabular form, it would be easy for you to understand. But but someone need to convert these paragraphs into a tabular format. And everything when it's happening using a code, using logics, writing the codes, these codes are this they are transforming the data from paragraph to a SQL structured data in a tabular form. Whenever the data is in a tabular format, it's easy to find out the required informations from the table. That's why a .NET developer should always put their data, construct the data in a tabular format and then store it out inside the servers. So this SQL makes the servers a structured storage in simple terms. Now, so I hope this SQL part is clear over there. So SQL basically that works as the memory. SQL works just like a memory. The they mm, they make the data available towards the users. That's it. Now the Azure cloud. So modern companies use this Azure cloud. Azure cloud is this is Microsoft provided services, and then like so now we discussed about the files, the structured files. But think about कि you have written thousands of papers. Suppose there are hundreds of people and you collected a single form from each of the person, right? So each of the form is important. Each of the form holds the information of each and every individual person. But there are different departments. Like HR department, there is a finance department, there is a IT department. You want to segregate these forms in different files. What you will do, you will pick up a channel file and then you will put the this single papers inside the files. So now there are five different files, and apart from the files you have some other things as well, like the receipts, like the bills and all. So you will prefer to keep all the files inside a single place. So collection of files, they are known as the blob. So people, this .NET developers should have a better understanding of blobs, that they stitch down all the files in single system and they can store it inside this world of software. That's why they require the knowledge of blobs. Blobs is the similar thing they just do using the codes. And the background jobs just to run on the functions, that whenever we are running the functions they can call the blobs, they can call the informations from, they can call the database just to do this. And communications handled by the service bus, performance monitored by this uh, by app insights, database run on the Azure SQL, apps are deployed globally. So these all things are getting controlled using this Azure cloud system. So Azure is a cloud-based system that Microsoft offers to maintain all those activities. A developer with Azure experience understands the world's real infrastructure, how this function, how this execution will happen. That's why there is a require of this Azure Microsoft based Azure cloud system. Now, previously we discussed about a term microservice. So microservices, these are just like they are building the independent kingdom. What does this independent kingdom mean? Just think, okay, old system were kept inside one single server, means one giant building. If one room caught fire, the entire building would be burned. The entire building burned when a single room caught fire. That's why they decided, instead of putting six different families in a flat modeled structure on it, I mean the people usually stay on the flats where uh, they are different uh, like families residing inside a flat. Instead of staying inside one single flat, they decide, no, just let's create six different houses, six different room, I mean six different home for six different family. If one room caught fire, that one single family would be affected, but rest of the five family would be saved. They would remain untouched over there. So this is the concept of microservices, a city of independent houses. If one fails, others continue. So again, inside the world of this software, this home or the houses, they are nothing but the components. So similarly, that if one component get affected, that every other component should remain active over there, and they should be in a interactive conditions. This is the simple thing. And this one room caught fire इसका मतलब that means के if any code gets affected, or if any code is there is a bug inside a code, if it's not uh, acting properly, so it's easy to find out where the problem is getting generated, where we need to debug the codes. So it's easy to deploy, easy to find out, easy to fix code, easy to upgrade this thing. So this is how Amazon, Netflix, Uber, Paytm scales the millions of users, millions of uh, like access points over there. So each microservices solves one problem, like payment, login, notification. Each of them are different services, and they are kept like inside one single houses, one single home, instead of keeping the entire services inside one single logic, one single room, one single flat system accommodations. They are splitting them. If there, I mean, this for one single home is operating for the payments, and the home is working on the logins, and the home is checking the authentications, and there is another home who is operating the notifications, and they has their own databases in a separate way, separated database, and they follow their own logics, own API, own deployment pipelines. This is called the microservices. The concept of putting six different families in different rooms. Now there is another term which is CI/CD pipelines. What does this CI/CD pipeline mean, or what does this DevOps mean? So imagine, so initially we told you that they are the traffic controllers. They act like the traffic lights, just to mm, the assembly line that makes software production possible. Imagine okay, mm, Tata Motors building cars manually, and one car would take weeks over there. So they build assembly lines in the sense okay, these are the process. Do it In this process, I'll maintain a single path over there, and you follow, you just build this type of code. I mean, first you build a code, then test it out, then package it out, then deploys, and again monitor when everything is working in a proper way. That means predefined steps to follow, that everything gets executed on their predefined format. This is the this is called the assembling things, or even defining each and every structured way that everything mm, uh, can be taken care for each and every segment, that tenure can be measured within the deadlines, everything is happening. So the Azure DevOps pipeline are the assembly lines for the software. And if a developer has worked in with this pipelines, they managed and released things, integrated automated testings, git this git branching and all. So they understand the enterprise grade work workflows. This is much more important, to understand the workflow and defining the assembly. So these are the part that DevOps and CI/CD pipeline does. They they just construct the things in a predefined way, that just like the writing the SOPs for a model. SOPs means the standard operating procedure. Now we have another thing. This is unit test and MS test. Unit test and MS test, these are like the proofreadings that you have whenever you draft an email. Before you convey it to a person, mm, to the audience or to the readers, you always double check whether you have written everything in a proper way. If you embedded some links, the links are activated over there or not. So this is some kind of testing you are doing at your end before delivering it to the actual user. Or at the similar time, just think about that you are preparing a cake over there. Before you serve it to the customer, you will check whether it whether you put the sugar, salt, and every gradients are properly utilized, and the test is on a standard level. Then only you deliver it to the clients, then only you deliver it to the actual users. The same thing happens inside the world of software. Before they deliver it to a person, they test it by themselves, and this X test and the M test are the process through which they test it out. Before, I think, just think some that the case of the restaurant as well. At restaurant, this API ordered, they just convey the informations. We You have to prepare a special dish over there. Do you think the chef will cook it and serve it to the customer? The answer is no. First they will prepare it, then they will test it. When they find everything is tailored over there, everything is properly aligned, the taste, smell, and the food is this is in a proper condition to serve it to the customer, then only they will serve it. They will give it to the API, that the API or the waiter can serve the food to the actual user. The similar thing, just like the same test over there inside the kitchen, this developer used to test it using the X test or the MS test. So, and when it comes to the developer, they need to write a certain kind of logic, certain kind of code to test it out, to ensure the this bugs or the problematic things are fixed over there. The system is stable. They are confident to deploy the system, that means to run and execute the code, and the behaviors are predictable. If you are putting, there is a button of friend request, as a developer you must ensure that when someone clicks over there, a, a message or a notification gets triggered to the other person as well. So they manually test it out before handing it over, before they hand over to the actual clients. These are the X tests. Now, what we previously used, the debug. Debug is nothing but the fixing the errors. Okay, whenever there is a error in the code, whenever anything that is not working inside the world of software, they are known as the bugs. And debugging means the fixing the bugs. The art of fixing is no fixing things. I mean, sorting the things or making it correct is known as the debugging system. When software breaks, customers panic. They just they suffers from this thing, and the business reputation suffers and all. So just for this, developers must diagnose the issue, just like a doctor examines a patient, and then they checks the logs, observe the symptoms, they find out the root causes, and then apply the fixes over there. They fix the process, and this they prevent the entire architecture over there. So these skills are, I mean, most required over there, and these are the basic understand. I mean, these are the uh, these are the thing how you can find out whether the person have a relevant skills over there or not. These are the simple explanation of those technical jargons. So what are the required skills? The first one is the .NET Core, building the modern and the fastest system. REST API, connecting apps and the services, interacting with the microservices. SQL, storing and retrieving data. That you, it's not only about storing the data. Whenever it's required, which data you required, you can find it out and extract the data. You can retrieve the data from the database. Azure, running the apps globally. Microservices, scalability and independency. DevOps, that is the first deployment process, assembling the process, defining the standard procedures, just like the traffic signals. Then, when everything is completed, you need to test it out to check the reliability. If there is a bug over there, just debug it, fix the codes, and then only you just deliver it to the customer, deliver it to the actual users. This is all about this JD of .NET developer, and I swear K, for the lifetime you are never going to forget. You will never forget that what these terms means. And whenever someone is speaking about their experience, they are sharing their experience, you can easily relate it out whether you are coming from the IT background or not. You can easily assume whether the person have actual expertise or not. You just ask them to share their experiences, ask them what they have done in a real life, what the real life problem they sorted over there, and they will start explaining whether they are going to use lots of technical jargon, but the basics, but the outcomes would remain the simplest way that we have discussed yet till now. That's the simple thing. Okay, thank you so much for your time. Bye bye. Hope this JD analysis will put some some advantage in your analysis process. So whether you are coming from a tech background or a non-tech background, this is the process. Once you just post-mortem the JD, once you find out the meanings and all, I hope you would be able to find out the right person. It's not only the right person, even you can screen out the candidates, and definitely before final selection we'll prefer to go with some sort of technical and the coding test as well. They need to pass it out over there. But for the screening process, I think this much knowledge is good enough. Okay, that's all. Thank you so much.